So for the guest lecture, he talked about the fundraising for a nonprofit organization. I believe, for me, what I learned that really I would remember would be when he talked about how getting someone's attention out of their curiosity is actually a great thing. So when he talked about curiosity, like when somebody just asks you a question about something, then that's your in or your doorway to actually be a part of that to of that conversation and build that relationship with that person, and maybe convince them to be a donor, or be someone that would be very helpful to the cause that you are trying to fundraise for. Also, he I learned that another thing that he talked about in the video was that the strategy of loyalty. So you when you build those relationship, you kind of use that loyalty to the cause, as the foundation of how you how you can build that relationship. And you can actually, like he was talking about, looking at the person's core beliefs, and you if you know that they are actually dedicated to the cause that you're fundraising for, then you can actually build on that and make it something that works for you and works for both parties anyway. So I think that's another important thing that I learned when it comes to fundraising for a nonprofit organization. And then also, another, like, one of the most important thing that I learned, besides the ones that I've already mentioned, is I think the um the staying positive or neutral, because I feel like that's in every career field or any job that you actually get into. Don't talk negative things about people, because that could really hurt you in the future, and that could come back to you and not help you with your career, or actually jeopardize your career. So it is very important to be honest, and because you can see when someone's honest about something that they're talking about, and being positive about it. And when you build those relationships, that's when those things actually matter, because that's when you actually try to show the person that you are also loyal to the cause that they are loyal to. So it's like it's a two-way road. So you don't want to talk about somebody and throw them under the bus, and later on that person that you were actually talking to talks to that other person. So, like, you just screwed yourself up. So I think that's one thing that I learned about, connecting with people with when it comes to fundraising or for a nonprofit organization. And then for the hint that he gave and talked about, um, getting a job in the field. And I think this applies to almost every career field that anybody can go into, is building those relationships. And I've heard this more than once, not just the first time that this is not the first time I've heard it. I've heard it more than once, that when you build your relationships with these people, this is what we call, or I call personally, the networking. And this is when you actually create those relationships and network with people to get you into the career field. And that's when you actually have more doors get open for you, or doors of opportunities that gets open for you. And you that's how you actually get in a career field. um we take the opportunity to build the relationship, and then maybe later down the road they'd be like, hey, I heard you were interested about this, and I knew about you. So, and we've known each other, we built that relationship, so why don't you work for me? And that's how you can actually get a job in any career field. um and it's who you know also, and both, like Dr. Price did say, that it's who you know and what you know. So you have to be very knowledgeable at the same time, but also that relationship and the connections you have will help you get into a career field, or any field really, because that's how it works in this society, in any society. um or like, if you just open yourself up to being being somebody that someone can call into and say, hey, we have an opening for this job, we thought you would ask you. So that's like one thing that's very important, why he why I also believe in what he talked about, building those relationships with other people, because that could really propel you towards your career or the career path that you're wanting to take.